Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Zangief's new pants, Dan Ryan.
What do you call a kid with no arms and an eye patch?
I don't know what.
Names.
Oh god, Sony has quote-unquote graced us with a new state of play. We covered the Nintendo Direct and fair's fair, right? I hope you like virtual reality because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now. Hi everyone, this is episode 452. It is the week of March 3rd, 2023, and Dan, you just told me that you saw Quantumania.
I did see Quantumania and I loved it.
Hey, we're going to get big fat spoiler warning right here. Dan and I are going to talk a little bit about the new Ant-Man movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, and you don't want to hear us ramble on about it, we'll fast forward in a little bit. We'll throw a note in there.
Evan will edit in like how much time it is, but like when we say big fat spoiler, we're talking like John Goodman on Roseanne. Like he doesn't look like that anymore, but like you remember what he used to look like on Roseanne?
I do.
Like that's the level. That's the level that we're talking about.
Wow,
he was a big dude.
He was a big dude.
He's still a big fucking dude, but like he was a big dude. Like that's unhealthy.
He's slimmed down a lot. He's looking.
He did. He looks good.
He does.
Looks good. I love him.
So yeah, Quantumania. I thought it was fantastic. I kind of went in with a little like slightly tempered expectations, but because the buzz about the internet was that it was trash and horrible, but. The internet's kind of full of shit. Like I liked the movie. Like this is the worst movie since Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals. I'm like, well, I liked both those movies, so if it's as good as them, then I'll be fine. But I kind of wanted to be better than those. But still, I thought it was. I fucking loved it. I thought it was great.
I wasn't over the moon for like the Eternals, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it.
This is only the second Marvel MCU proper film that has not been certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes. Like the other one was the Eternals. Mm-hmm. And I really, that part I really don't get. Like, it's a fucking Ant-Man movie.
Like that takes place in the quantum realm. Like it was always going to be weird
and like shit.
I do kind of get how
drink the
goo. your average moviegoer like might not dig this movie because it was really weird. But to actually actively dislike it, I feel like a lot of that is the same people who were incredibly pissed off at the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Of like, how dare they do this to MODOK? Like, he was supposed to be like a crazy he's supposed to be on it. No, fuck you. It's fucking MODOK. He's a giant floaty head. And I get the thought of like, well, look what they did to Arnim Zola, another completely ridiculous looking character, and they reinvented him in such an interesting way to make him work in live action. Like, okay, but that was Arnim Zola. You could convince me that dude's name was Arnim Zola. This is a mechanical organism designed only for killing. It's actually supposed to be MODOK.
It's MODOK. It's so fucking funny.
MODOK is completely absurd, and this was a genius move. I loved that it was fucking Darren Cross. I loved that.
Yeah, that makes as much sense as literally any other MODOK fucking origin story. And I really do. I fucking dare you to find the person who is like, no, actually though, and is trying to like mansplain the conversation at like that MODOK is a legit serious character. Fucking stop it. Stop it. That's absurd.
Legs. He's got little baby legs. He's got a rocket in his butt.
The new fucking Marvel Legend that they put out last year had an alternate head where he had an Elvis hairdo. Like, who the fuck are we trying to pretend that MODOK actually is?
I thought he looked cool as hell with that silly mask. I was awesome. I loved it. I loved him. He was so funny too. Like, I was absolutely dying when she's like, just don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
I'm such a dick.
At least I died an Avenger. When he's like, I always considered you a brother, and he's like fucking stroking Paul Rudd's face.
It's like, what?
What is happening right now?
When Hope shows up at the end and she sees this, she's like, Darren? And his response is, Hope, you changed your hair.
You cut your hair.
What? It's like your giant head with mechanical. What is little baby legs? And he's like, "You changed your hair." It was hysterical. Oh my god!
It was so good. It was
the whole thing was really fun.
It beyond all of that, like what they did with Kang was so fucking cool.
Oh my god! Right? Because he was like
so menacing and so fucking scary. And like this idea that Tiff and I walked out of the theater and we were like, all right, so what if they just defeated the good Kang? Like, he's still a bad guy, right?
That's exactly what Paul Rudd said.
Definitely a bad guy, but what if he's the good one?
At the end? Like, what if he was the only thing that was stopping the more bad things? He did say that whole ending thing was genius. Yeah. Because, they suck him into that thing, and I don't necessarily believe that he's really dead.
Sure.
He got sucked into a thing. That's, the Red Skull survived. The Tesseract shooting him into space, then no question in my mind that this Kang is coming back. But even if he doesn't, like, that whole thing at the end where he was just like, wait, did I beat him? I'm not really sure what happened there. Like, it was so good. It was so good. Not only was it funny, but it was also really unnerving because, like, you don't know. Like, did you beat him? Did what actually did happen there? Is he done? Were there ramifications? Did you just fuck up the entire universe? Like, I love that they touched on that at the end of this movie. I thought that was genius. And then the whole showing the scene with Loki at the post credit, I did not see that coming either. That was a big surprise.
So fucking cool. Mm-hmm. Michelle Pfeiffer, goddamn.
Oh, she was great.
She was great. She looks incredible. This might be the best. This is how I know I'm an adult. Is because, like, I look at Michelle Pfeiffer and I'm like, yep, that's my hall pass. She's in her 60s. But, like, whatever. I don't fucking care. I stand by it. Michelle Pfeiffer and Helen Mirren. That's where I'm fucking at in my life.
So you're going to be seeing Shazam?
Fuck yeah. I love the first Shazam.
That movie was awesome. With no pants on.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Fucking first Shazam movie was great. Not as good as Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, though. I could do without Evangeline Lilly. I just don't like her. Like, as a person. I don't really feel like
I think she was probably the weakest link, but I still really I still enjoyed her enough. I used to really like her on Lost, and I was really excited to see what she would do with this role. But she's the least interesting out of all of them. Like,
by far the least interesting. He was
Michelle
great.
Pfeiffer's fucking great. Paul Rudd's great. The new girl they got playing Cassie was great.
Yeah,
Kang was great. I loved the dude who was super excited about having holes.
Yes. Drink the goo. Drink my goo.
Right? And like that whole thing with Cassie, like the fact that she got to face off against MODOK at the end, I was like, it's like awesome. A revenge fight against the bee guy from her bedroom from the first movie. Like, I thought that was so cool.
It was great.
I really liked. I liked everything about this. I really, really enjoyed it. I left so happy. Like, I did too. Such a good time.
I walked out of Love and Thunder a little bit disappointed.
Yeah,
like,
same here.
I thought Love and Thunder was going to be better than it was. It's not bad, right? But I thought it was going to be better.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was you we were talking about that with, or if it was Paul. We were saying that, like, Taika Waititi needs a leash. He needs somebody
that you and I were talking about. He needs somebody to be like, no. Nope, that's too far, or that's not funny, or whatever. And we watched Wakanda Forever a couple weeks ago because we never saw that in the theater. Just because
that was also fine.
It was, man, I don't think that's a movie that it's possible to have really liked, considering what that movie had to do, like both storyline wise and life wise, like having to deal with the death of Chadwick Boseman, but also advance the MCU plotline forward. Yeah, like
they could have recast him. I stand by it. They could have recast him.
Man, I don't know.
They've recast they're fucking recasting Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, but they
recast War Machine. Like,
yeah,
I get it. It's not. Chadwick Boseman was a fucking force of nature. He was amazing. He was perfect in that role.
He was.
I don't like Letitia Wright. I don't like Shuri that much as a character. I was really hoping they were going to give it to not Okoye, Nakia. Yeah, but they didn't. It went to Shuri, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and they set it up to not be for very long at the end of the movie.
Sure,
right, with the post-credit sequence. Like, but like I said, like, I liked that movie a lot. I thought Namor was really fucking cool.
Namor was cool. I liked that.
I loved all of the stuff they did with Atlantis. Like, I want a solo Namor project. Like, I would love to see the battle between, like, him and Atuma or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of really cool shit there. Sure. The guy who was playing Namor, I thought just fucking knocked it out of the park. Even the little fucking ankle wings looked cool.
They did. I really liked. I was cool with all of it. That all worked out, and you know, as much as I liked that girl who played Riri Williams.
Oh god, that did not need to be in there at all.
It didn't fit. It was so shoehorned in. Like,
it really was.
She's got a show coming out. Do it there. You did not need to do this, especially because she's more or less back to square one at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
like she built the Iron Man suit, or the Ironheart suit, but she doesn't get to keep it.
You took it from her.
So yeah, why?
You legitimately could have cut her out of the movie entirely, and
they could have made the scientist
not have mattered.
They could have made the scientist character like just a one-off. It didn't even have to be a person that you needed to care about. Could have just been someone. That's all you needed to do. It didn't need to be Riri Williams. Or if it was, they didn't need to get to the level of Ironheart. They could have held back all that Ironheart stuff and saved it for the future. Just set up the character,
which I am really excited about. Like, I think she's a really cool character. She was great.
A cool character, and that actress was great in that role. She was very fun to watch, but by the end, like, I didn't care when she made her suit. I didn't care about any of that shit. It just didn't work.
No, because she didn't. It wasn't earned, right? Yeah, so much of what the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has done well is that they've earned all of it. You know, we're going on, 15, 16 years, 40 fucking movies at this point. Like, it's all been earned, but this was just like, she's the new Iron Man. Like, it just kind of like happened. Nope.
You need to make a suit. Okay, and then you make a suit, and then she flies around for a few minutes, and then Shuri becomes Black Panther and gets all mad and beats Namor, and
I wanted Killmonger to come back. Somehow, I wanted them to figure that Palpatine has returned. Somehow, Palpatine has returned.
I can't remember if they finished him off in What If.
Michael B. Jordan's a really good actor. Like that dude.
He is, and he was. I liked his cameo in that movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
That was very cool.
So, like, but tying that back into Quantumania, right? So, like, I liked Wakanda Forever, but that's, like, I don't know that that's a movie I'm going to go back to a bunch because it's inherently fucking sad.
Yeah. Like,
it's just sad.
I'll watch it if I'm doing a full rewatch, but I'm not going to go back to that one for funsies.
Yeah. And, like, Love and Thunder kind of disappointed me. The Eternals was like, it was okay. You know, so, like, the last couple of, like, movies have been like, these were all right. You know, but like Quantumania, I felt was back up to like this fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like I'm super hyped for Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Yep.
You know, not that I wasn't before, but this kind of brought me back up to like, no, these are fucking great. I love these movies. You know, I don't even read the comic books anymore because
I think the Marvels is going to be awesome because I
thought
Miss Marvel was great, and I liked Captain Marvel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious what that's actually going to be about. And I also like that they've kind of cut the slate back a lot this year, because
it's getting to be too much.
It was too much, and they recognize that. They're like, all right, this is too much. There's a lot going on. Let's pull this back. Let's rein this in a little bit. And they need to do that a little bit with Star Wars too, because right now, the mediocre season 2 of Bad Batch is running, and it's going to be running concurrently with Mandalorian. Like every Wednesday, there's going to be, for at least 4 or 5 weeks, there's going to be a new Mandalorian and a new Bad Batch. It's like, you don't need 2 Star Wars shows running at the same time. You just don't, especially not when one is pretty mediocre.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of the Bad Batch stuff. I don't know from...
There's nothing of value there.
I was going to say, I wasn't going to, like it wasn't on the list of things to get to at any point.
Yeah.
Because we were joking earlier, like my time is relatively limited with the, other stuff that my life is. And like, we watched the first episode of The Last of Us, and I loved it, and now I'm waiting for that to finish before I watch the rest of it. Like the only fucking weekly episodic TV I watch is fucking AEW. Like I watch that every Wednesday. But like other than that, it's just things are, especially like with the new job Tiff has. Like she got home tonight at 8:30. So it's
that's not enough time.
No, it's 8:30, and then we were recording the podcast at 9. It's like, well, hi honey, bye honey. You know what I mean? Like, there's no time to play a video game today with her, because she's such a jerk. Like, we got Metroid, and she's like, well, I want to play it with you. I'm like, well, then that means I'm never going to fucking finish it. Just like God of War, because you're not here.
You got to do what I did. Right? This is Metroid Prime. We've played through this game before. There's no surprises here. It's just a fun game to play. So John wants me to play it with him. So I just started 2 save files. Well, I keep playing through it with myself, and then in the limited time I get... So, I'm like an hour or so ahead of him, and then I'll just go back to save file 1, and that's my John save file. So I'll just do that again. Fair. I don't mind going through this game twice. It's not a problem for me.
You're not wrong.
But I also don't want to wait. I'm not sitting around and waiting for him to play that game.
To play it. That's fair. All right, so putting a button on Quantum Mania, if you were... because we didn't actually spoil too much, surprisingly enough, in our discussion there. Yeah. Bill Murray was fucking great. It's no secret that he's in there. Like everybody knows,
he was in the trailer.
It was a fun cameo. Like, it's Bill Murray. That's fucking cool. It was fucking outstanding. Yeah, it was fucking outstanding. I loved it. It was delightful. I cannot wait. Like, I turned to Tiff. I'm such a fucking nerd. Turned to Tiff in the theater. And like as they're going through the quantum realm and like all the different stuff is happening, I'm like, I look over at her. I can't wait to watch this on the TV with our lights. That's going to look awesome. She was like, shut the fuck up. Enjoy this movie here. And I was like, yeah, but it's going to look really good. It'll like, can you imagine? She was like, no, shut up. It's like, all right, fair point. It was awesome. You should go see it if you haven't.
Yeah, good times. All right, so video games. Obviously,
I'm with chlorophyll.
We obviously both want to talk about Metroid, so we'll save that one for last. We were going to do the DS starter kit this week, but we're going to do State of Play.
No, don't even fucking lie about it. I forgot to do it. I totally fucking forgot. Completely and totally, because my life is a shit show. I have 3 foster dogs right now. They're fucking drive me up a wall. One of them two of them have fucking kennel cough. So I keep waiting for my other dogs to fucking get sick. It's fucking crazy. It's like the one dog. So we have 2 Bostons right now. We have Bernie and Willie. So like Bernie Williams, which makes me happy. And then we have this really fucking clingy giant puppy that like she's 6 months old. She's 55 pounds. She is a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog Golden Retriever mix. She is stunningly beautiful. But God damn it, she is a Velcro dog. It is infuriating. But the 2 Bostons both have kennel cough. And Willie, the boy, is walking around, and the way it sounds when dogs cough, it sounds like he's faking it. To be like, oh, I'm so sick, Mom, I can't go to school. Like, it sounds like he's fucking faking. It's so ridiculous when he just like he gets excited like I'm about to feed them or whatever, and he just it's like, what are you doing? Stop it. It's fucking annoying. Knock it off. Ridiculous. But like I have to also make sure he's not dying. You know, like that's part of it too. It's been a fucking shit show. But yeah, it's just been fucking crazy. It's my life. God damn it. God damn it. What have you played this week other than Metroid, Chris?
Well, I kind of put a button in Mario and Luigi, which I know is disappointing.
Not loving
it? It's not that I'm not loving it. I just got this bug up my butt about Kid Icarus games. It's every couple of years I'm like, I need to beat the Kid Icarus games again. And like I beat 3D Classics Kid Icarus. I beat both Myths and Monsters. It's such a good evolution of the first Kid Icarus game. That game just does not get the credit it deserves.
I've never played all the way through it. Every time I start playing through of Myths and Monsters, like, man, this is really fucking good. And then something happens and I don't finish it. I don't know why.
I'm really hoping it's one of the earlier ones to show up on Nintendo Switch Online, because I'm just...
Oh, that would be so good.
I'm just tired of playing on my 3DS. After playing both of those games, best way for me to play them is on the 3DS right now.
Yeah.
Because the 3D Classics version of the first Kid Icarus it's like the only way I want to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
I like playing the original enough on the television, but every time I'm playing it now, I'm like, this isn't as good. They fixed that game on the 3D Classics version, and that needs to be on my TV. Like, that's just what I want.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
But I finished both of those, and I'm going to start Uprising. I don't know, probably the next time I have time to myself that I choose not to play more Prime. You know, because But
so not for a little bit.
Not for a little bit. It's been super fun, right? And I'm enjoying Mario and Luigi. It's just I got this weird bug up my butt of like, no, this is what I want to do. I really want to play the Kid Icarus games right now, and it's been a couple of years since I played through Uprising, and I just really want to play that game again. So I'm gonna. I'll get around to Mario and Luigi. I'll get around to it. I was enjoying it, and playing it on the Switch is definitely nicer than playing it on the Wii U was. So we'll see. But yeah, the first two Kid Icarus games they're just great. I can't wait to play Uprising again. I also played the demo of that Kirby game, and I talked about that playing the demo of it, I think, already. I really want it, but I can't afford it. I'll get it eventually. I'm not itching for new games, really. I mean, between Metroid Prime and Kid Icarus, and I'm sure I'm going to get something to review for Nintendo Force next month. So it's probably best that I don't inundate myself with too much stuff here, but I genuinely would like to have that game at some point. So I'm looking out for sales once my monetary situation levels out a little bit better. But the Kirby game looks great. Kid Icarus Uprising, and then I think that was it. I didn't do much on my VCS this week because I wound up playing. I was just really working through with Myths and Monsters. So that was my Saturday morning instead last week. And I'm done with Vampire Survivors for the time being. And Akka Arrh came out. I really want to get that. I heard that's really good.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It was an old Atari arcade game that was a prototype was released. The prototype was out there, but the game never saw official release. And they included it in Atari 50. And it was a really neat game. And then Jeff Minter, the guy who did Tempest 2000, 3000, etc., he did a new version of Akka Arrh that just came out on, I want to say, everything. I know it's on Switch and VCS. I think it's on PlayStation 2. AHHR. Akka Arrh is... Yeah, it's on everything. PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, Steam, VCS. It's on everything. Looks weird as hell, but you know, it's Jeff Minter doing his thing, and it's getting really good reviews. So I'm totally into it. The arcade version that was on Atari 50 was also really interesting. I played that for a little bit and thought it was a neat idea. So AKKAARRH, Akka Arrh.
Man, I'm gonna have to get Atari 50 at some point.
Yar, there's Akka Arrh, Dan.
Akka Arrh.
No, it is quite good. There's a lot of really interesting stuff on there. But that was a winner. I definitely want to pick that up. How much is that? I got to see how much that's running for on the Switch right now. I'm probably going to get it on VCS, but
sure.
Well, I suppose I could turn on my VCS. It's right next to me. What have you been playing?
This week I've been finally in Marvel Snap. I think one of the coolest parts of the game is the variants for cards that you have, right? And I have been waiting for a particular Venom variant to show up in my shop. And I've been waiting and I've been saving gold and whatever. And this particular Venom variant that I have been waiting for was a Scotty Young variant. I fucking love Scotty Young's artwork. I think he does just whimsical, magical things with the characters.
Like the cute babyish version of them?
Yeah, the cute babyish versions of them. And the version of Venom that is in this game is like little baby Venom. It's very Invader Zim-esque. Invader Zim-adjacent, I would even go so far as to say. Dare I say, Invader Zim-adjacent. It seems inspired by it almost. But it's Venom, and he's got big mouth, big long tongue, and he is eating a Spider-Man ice cream pop. Like, that's what it looks like. You remember the Spider-Man face ice cream pops? Yeah. It looks like what that is supposed to actually look like, not what actually, like when you open the package and it was all fucking destroyed and whatever. And it's just the cutest fucking thing. And it finally showed up in my shop, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Except I just spent all my gold the day before on this fucking Valentine's Day bundle that they had, so I could finally get a Daredevil card. Because I love Daredevil too, and I have to have Daredevil. So I had to I spent like $5 to get like more gold just so I could buy this stupid fucking variant. But it's so fun because it's the archetype that I like to play right now in the game. And I was really, really fucking angry with Marvel Snap a couple of weeks ago because they did something that to me, I know it's not the biggest fucking deal in the world, but it just felt really shitty. I purchased the Zabu card. Okay. Zabu was every month they run a different, monthly, like a season pass, they call it, right? It's $10, for the regular season pass, or $15 if you want to do a little pay to win kind of stuff. Like you advance at some levels. It's not a ton of levels, but throughout the season rewards path, if you spend $15, it advances you like 10 levels or whatever. And ultimately, it doesn't make that much of a difference. You get some more credits, you get some more gold quicker, you get through the path quicker, okay? Not that big a deal. But the Zabu card that they released previously, I was like, oh, this is a really fucking good card. It was a 3-cost card, had 2 power, and what it did was it made all of your 4-cost cards cost 2 less. All right, so this is a little nerdy, but go with me on this, okay? So if you dropped a Zabu on turn 3, then that means on turn 4, if you had your deck, stacked with fucking 4-cost cards, you could play 2 instead of 1, right? Okay. Easy enough to follow? Okay.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit overpowered. It was a little OP, as the kids like to say, because it basically made it to where you could really, really fucking just kind of steamroll in some games. Now, Zabu was incredibly easy to counter with other cards in the game that could just fucking completely take away what he does. But the argument was made that it was a little bit overpowered. The month before that, there was a Silver Surfer card came out. That was also the argument was made that it was overpowered, right? Now, where it fucking really pissed me off was that I think it was either 2 or 3 days, and I'm sure somebody can correct me here, because I know we got a bunch of people that play Snap too. It was either 2 or 3 days after the Zabu season ended. So, like, you can buy the card all the way up until the last day of the season, right? And then when the new season starts, they're doing a Quantum Mania Ant-Man focus thing, like MODOK is the card you can buy right now. 2 or 3 days after the season ended, they completely changed the card. They took it from a 3-2 card that made your 4-cost cards cost 2 less to a 2-2 card, so you can play it on the second turn, but it made it so where your 4-cost cards cost 1 less energy. So now that they would be 3-cost cards. So theoretically now, whereas you could before play 2 of them on turn 4, now you can play 2 of them on turn 6, which is the last turn of the game. And like, all that's fine. It's much better balanced than what it was previously, and I'm cool with all of that. What I think is really shitty is that 2 days after you could buy the card, they completely changed the fucking card. And like, that's not what I bought. You know what I mean? I understand trying to... It's hard, right? You're trying to keep this balance between free-to-play players who you're hoping will spend money at some point on the game, whether it's a little $5 bundle here and there, whatever, and whales. Like, you're trying to balance the game to make it a viable thing that continues and whatever. I get how difficult all of that is, right? I've played Magic. I've dabbled in Pokemon, you know, like with the kids and whatnot. I understand the thought process behind that. What I fucking didn't like was that we're only a couple of months into this game existing, and you're already changing shit that people purchased. And that fucking sucks. I don't like that. Even a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's kind of a ridiculous comparison to make, but like, if I bought a fucking Camaro, and then a month later, like, the guy from the dealership comes up and he's like, all right, like, you liking that Camaro, right? It's pretty dope. I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking Camaro. It's fucking awesome. He's like, okay, here's a Dodge Charger. It's like, oh, well, that's still pretty fucking cool, but like, that's not what I bought. You know what I mean?
I do.
That sucks. And I know, again, I totally understand. I totally get it. You got to balance the game. When you sign up for the game, if you read through the fucking legalese bullshit, it says they can change cards whenever they fucking feel like it for the interest of balancing them, whatever. What felt shitty about it to me in this instance was that they waited until 2 days after the season ended.
Mm.
That struck me as really shitty. If you would have announced, I would have absolutely zero problem with it if they would have announced the nerf to the card 2 days before the season ended. You know what I mean?
I do.
Like, let people know that you're changing this card. Make it official. Nerf the card 2 days before it ends. Don't try to suck as much money out of people as you can and then fucking change the card. That is predatory at best, right? And maybe I'm overreacting to it. Maybe it's not that big. And ultimately, it's not that. It's $10, right? The $10 that I spent, it doesn't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. I just really didn't like the way that felt. So that kind of sucked. And it kind of killed my interest for a couple of weeks in the game, and I'd like, whatever. But then I got the Venom variant, and I was like, all right, I'm back in. Fuck.
You got me.
It's so cute. I gotta fucking play it. It's whatever. Whereas, you know, I don't know how long Marvel Snap is gonna last. You know, I know Hearthstone is still around, or at least I think it is. And the guys who are making Marvel Snap used to be developers on Hearthstone. But it's a fun game. I really like it. I hope it lasts for quite a while, because on the other complete opposite end of the spectrum, Puzzle and Dragons in Japan just had their 11th anniversary celebration. Like 11 years for a mobile game. That's a mobile gacha game. Like, that is fucking crazy talk. That's crazy. And it's still going strong, and it's still doing well. And they had 2 different streams, and they announced a bunch of other shit. And like, the second stream was kind of disappointing, because it was like, other than they announced that they were finally, it seems weird that it's taken 11 years, but for the first time ever, they are having a collab that's going on right now between Puzzle and Dragons and Gundam. And it's like, oh, this is really fucking cool. Big robots. Yes, give me all of the fucking robots. I love this shit. But like, it took 11 years to get to that point, which is kind of crazy. But at the same time, like, it's 11 years of this game. And one thing that I think Puzzle and Dragons has done really, really well is that they've never, like, they don't nerf shit. You know what I mean? They introduce new stuff that makes your old shit obsolete, which is just the nature of power creep in video games in general, right? When nobody is playing through Breath of the Wild with the stick when the Master Sword is an option. You know, now, and I know that's not exactly a fair comparison, because you don't have to pay extra money for the Master Sword, but whatever. You don't have to pay any extra money in Puzzle and Dragons either. That's one of the few games that I can say, after playing it for as long as I have, I just, like, my North American account just hit 2750 consecutive days logged in. That's crazy. It is a game that is legitimately playable, completely free to play. It is, I can say after 2,750 days, that if you have stuck with it that long and you want to be a free-to-play player, you absolutely can do that. It might take you a little longer to get through everything, but isn't that kind of the point of being a free-to-play player? There's enough there that they have given you. So, I don't know. It just, Snap kind of pissed me off, but then I got the Venom variant, and I was like, man, fuck, alright, I'm back in. But then Puzzle and Dragons was like, hey, you like big robots? Yeah, you do, asshole. Come here. I got all types of big robots for you. They fucking just threw them out. And I'm like, alright, cool. Play with some big robots. I played a bunch of the show tech test, too. That was really good. The new fielding shit, it's really hard. I suck at it. It's like, man, this is part of the game that I have to relearn now. God damn it. They made it to where your first baseman's fielding defense actually matters this year. So, like, you can't just chuck whatever over at them and expect it to be an out every time. It's like, oh, man. All right, now I got to actually, like, focus on fielding, I guess. God damn it. That's fine. It's fine. I'll figure it out. I'll get there. But really, like, we are burying the lead, Chris.
Yeah.
We're burying the lead.
Metroid Prime.
It came out physically.
It
now,
did.
People have been playing it digitally. And it was so weird. You got it physically. I got it physically. I don't know why I felt so strongly that I wanted that game physically, but I did. And I called GameStop in the morning because I work in Philly. So I called a GameStop that was near to where I was working, because Tiff had called around a couple places. She called like Walmart and Best Buy and whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have any." She was calling it like right after she dropped the kids off, because she didn't want to just drive around Creation looking for this fucking game. And I was like, "That's fucking weird. It's supposed to be out today. Let me call GameStop. Let me just see what's up." So I called GameStop in Philly, and the lady that I talked to was very nice. But obviously had no idea what she was talking about, because she's a woman in a video game store. That's absurd. Their brains are smaller, Chris. It's science. God damn. But she was like, yeah, that game actually doesn't come out until Friday. And I was like, I mean, that's not true, but okay, I'll go with you. You're being real nice about this. I was like, I was like, no, and then Nintendo just like, they had a direct and they said it came out 22nd, like that's what their website says. And she was like, Oh no, that's like on their website. And I was like, man, this is a really frustrating conversation that I'm having. Because like
that's bullshit.
I want to tell you that you're 100% wrong, but you're being super nice about it. So I'm just gonna instead be like, yeah, okay. Just fucking hang up and try a different GameStop. And I called a GameStop by my house that I like could drive by on the way home, and I was like, did you guys get any copies of Metroid Prime? And he was like, oh yeah, we got like 20. I was like, oh sweet, all right, my wife will be by in a little bit. He was like, I don't fucking care. It's like, that's fair. I don't know why you would. I don't know why I told you that information. You don't care who comes in and buys the game. It's like, but she will be. Her name's Tiffany. Be nice to her. Don't be a dick. Such a dick. Such a dick. At least I died in a venture. Funny. So fucking funny. But man, this game's really fucking good, Chris.
Yeah, my experience
it's a really good
picking
game.
It up was what is it? I went to I kept trying to reserve it somewhere where I could go buy it. Like I didn't want to reserve it and then wait for it to show up in the mail for a couple of days.
Yeah,
I wanted to pre-order it somewhere so that I could go to a store and guarantee myself a copy to buy it.
Yeah,
but you couldn't do that. It just wasn't an option anywhere. So I kept on top of like Target, Best Buy, and Walmart, and none of them had any of them. Best Buy said that they didn't get the company-wide, they got an incredibly limited number of them, just enough to fill pre-orders. Target had no idea what I was talking about at any given point. And,
do they ever, though?
Yeah, I like shopping at Target, but I also don't like shopping at Target.
Yeah.
For most things other than video games, they're just...
I really want fucking Amazon to not be the best choice. I actively want that to be the case. It is often not the case.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. It doesn't have to be this way, but you guys are ruining it. You bunch of ruiners. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Every last one of them. So I wound up, I had heard that GameStop was getting some, so I tried calling and nobody answered, so I just drove out there and parked in front of the store, and I was not the only one. I was the first one there, but
nice.
There was 5 other dudes showed up behind me, and they were all there to see if they got Metroid Prime, which they did. The girl who was working there was kind of confused. She was like, yeah, I heard this was being limited most places. We got a bunch of them, and I feel like these don't belong here. But my district manager said to sell them, so
I'm selling them.
So she sold them.
Yeah, my GameStop got a ton, and it's a dinky little GameStop. Like, it is a nothing GameStop. And they got a bunch, so whatever.
But yeah, what she said, it's a goddamn masterpiece. I can't believe how good this game looks.
It looks really good.
It is a stunningly attractive game. Really just goes to show you how far art direction can take you, because
yeah, it does.
It is still at its core. It is very much still the GameCube game. It's just painting over those bones. There's some new geometry going on with the bosses and stuff, but for the most part, this is all the animations. This is the same game. Yeah, it just looks so unbelievably good. It freaks the hell out.
They did such a good job on the original game, and now I finally get to play this game like an adult.
Oh my
and that
God.
makes me very happy.
I am struggling a little bit with the controls because of how often I've played this on both platforms before this.
Sure.
Because my muscle memory, now that I'm using a single controller again, my muscle memory is kicking in for both of the previous iterations of the game at the same time. So I keep getting screwed up on which button should be missiles, which button I should be using to jump. And I'm trying to train myself to use the left shoulder button to jump instead of the B button, because I'm adventuring around and I'll just quick move my thumb back and forth between the analog sticks. No, you got to start using the trigger button so that you can steer while you're jumping. But I'm having a hard time with it. I'll get into a fight and then I'll just be mashing this button and nope, that's not morph ball. There it is. Because on the on the Wii version, right? I'm playing the Wii version. The morph ball is the C, the I guess trigger button. I don't know what else you want to call it. The C button, the little round button that's not the trigger on the nunchuck. So it's your left, basically your left shoulder button is morph ball, and that's jump in this one. And morph ball is Y, but I'm pretty sure on the GameCube controller it was not. It definitely wasn't the B button to go into morph ball, which is where the Y button is in that kind of layout, right?
Yeah.
So like everything is just a little bit different than it was on both iterations of this game's controls, and it's messing with my mind. That said, this iteration is the correct way. Like this is
dual analog is the way to play this game.
Dual analog. These controls make 100% sense. I just got the wave beam and switching beams by holding down that one button and using the D-pad. It's brilliant. It's great. I also love that the I switch back and forth when I'm doing combat.
Yeah,
like because I'll use lock onto something with combat, and then I'll use the buttons to do the jumping so that I can do the dodge move and the A button to shoot, because I'm faster with pressing an A button than I am pressing a trigger. But it's neat that I have the option to very naturally use both of those setups depending on what I'm doing in the game at the same time. And just the fact that I can stand there and look around by just moving the I can't believe it took this long to get Metroid Prime with proper dual analog controls, but holy shit, it feels so good. It feels
That's
so
what I'm saying.
good.
It feels like actually playing the adult version of the game, and like I don't say that to be shitty, but like I love Nintendo. I love Nintendo. You love Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they need to shut the fuck up and just do what everybody else does. Like, this is the way these types of games work. And they could have done it that way on the GameCube. They could have.
They could have done that with the GameCube. I understand, like, I think the Wii controls are brilliant. And when I played it on my CRT in
when they work,
the perfect environment, like, it was the perfect environment for it. I never had a problem with it. When I played it this time in my living room where there's a lot of sunlight getting in the way, then it didn't work anymore, and it was obnoxious,
unplayable.
Not in my living room, but I know that your situation was different, where it was flat out unplayable. Because if depending on where your TV is, that shit just flat out doesn't work.
It just doesn't.
Like 95% of the time, it was fine as long as all the curtains were drawn, and I was playing at the right time of day. So
it was didn't what ruin an absurd set of circumstances. You got it. This isn't fucking Boktai. This is some Hideo Kojima shit. Fuck you, it's Metroid. I want to play it.
And you know what? I really like that, like the pointer controls, when they work, they're a really great analog to using like keyboard and mouse style controls. It really does freaking work, but it's not dual analog. That's dual
what analog really is still the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It just like
for me. I understand that PC gamers, the PC master race will always argue that
and they can fuck
keyboard
off.
And mouse is the superior method. But it just keeps getting me thinking. Like, I was just talking about Kid Icarus Uprising. Like, you want to talk about another game that just
fix that.
Just make it dual analog. You can, and it'll
stop
work
doing
that
weird
way.
shit and just make it dual analog.
Like, I get what you were going for, Sakurai, with the wacky globe spinning thing that you had going on, and it does work in its own way.
Stop it.
But no. Especially given what they did with this game and the way that it looks and the way that it was remastered over a freaking GameCube game looking this goddamn good. And thinking about the bones of Kid Icarus Uprising and how good that looks already. Because, like, the original Metroid Prime still looks great. This looks a lot better. But it still looks great. And Kid Icarus Uprising still looks great. Prettying that up would be just such a jaw-dropper. I want it with all of my heart and soul.
So I have only gotten off the space station. That's it. That's the only thing we've had to play, because got it on Wednesday, and was able to play through it, and then AEW came on, so I had to stop. And then yesterday, Tiff was at work until, like, she didn't get home till like 8:30, and because I'm a fucking stupid adult with responsibilities, I go to bed at 10. So it's like, well, I'm not. You just got home. It's not like you're gonna. All right, you have the second you walk in the door, you're gonna sit down and we're gonna play this game. And then today she got home at like 8 or whatever, so we really didn't have time. So I've only gotten off the space station, like just the first intro sequence, running through, doing the whole thing. But what's making me so happy about it is that a while ago I told you I bought that 8-bit DO adapter.
Uh-huh.
So I am playing through this using my DualSense, one of the DualSense controllers that I have.
Right, I know how much you like that controller.
I fucking love, like, being able to play through Metroid Prime with proper dual analog controls, but using my preferred controller, using a DualSense controller. Like, oh my God, this is just so fucking perfect for me. And I know the dual analog is working so perfectly for other people who love the pro controllers or whatever.
That's what I'm using. It's fucking
just
amazing.
It finally, like I said, makes the game, I think, the most playable it's ever been.
100% agree.
I cannot wait to get through the rest of it. And I really, really hope, in addition to like Kid Icarus Uprising, because I've wanted that game in an actually playable format. Because like you said, it works, but it really doesn't. Like, if we're being honest, that game is a fucking chore to play. It's not a fun experience. It just isn't.
It is it's not a physically fun experience. The game itself is really fun. And
no, the game of fun is
getting through the bizarre ass controls to get through. But but
it's not a fun experience to physically play.
Goddamn stand.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. That's ridiculous. That's the kind of thing where, like, when somebody hands you that design document, the adult in the room should have grabbed the piece of paper, crumpled it up, and thrown it back in the person's face and been like, fuck it, no, we're not doing that. What's wrong with you? That's not what we're going to do. This is absurd. But, like, so even beyond that, though, it makes me so excited for Prime 2 and Prime 3.
Oh, I really hope those happen.
Because they kind of have to at this point. Like, it would be weird if they didn't.
It would be. Wouldn't that just be the most Nintendo thing?
But it would be the most Nintendo thing that they could possibly ever do. You're not wrong.
The rumor as it is right now, and this I would believe 150,000%, is that what's going to happen is they're just going to do a basic upscale on them. They're not going to actually remaster those. Like 2 and 3 will just get super basic upscaling, and that'll be that. And don't get me wrong, that'll be fine, I guess. But
as long as they have dual analog controls.
Exactly. As long as they have dual analog controls.
All that matters.
That's what truly matters. But seeing how amazing Talon 4 looks, I mean, with this remaster, I'll be somewhat heartbroken if they don't really give those games the proper treatment, because I found the original Metroid Prime to be the most visually appealing out of the three to begin with.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But the reasons are, because of certain things like lighting and like how dark Prime 2 is and how much bloom lighting is all over Prime 3. I feel like those games could really, really benefit from this shit. Like, it just to an unbelievable way. I would be very, very, very excited to see Prime 2 and 3 get the same treatment. In particular, 3. Like,
it's also got to get you really excited for Prime 4, though. Like, seeing what is possible here, playing this game in a truly playable fashion. Man, like, it really makes the idea of what Prime 4 can and should be, like, really, really exciting.
100% agree. Prime 4 the fact that this was done by Retro gives me a whole lot of warm fuzzy feelings on the inside.
Sure.
Because it's just like, all right, so Retro has not lost a step. They're still in high quality control mode. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure what Prime 4 is going to be. Like, what is it going to be like? But
yeah, that's a good question, considering what we know of it having to kind of go back to the drawing board, or what we think we know anyway, because we don't actually know.
We really don't. Like, we don't know anything about it for real.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they went back and remastered the original Metroid Prime and they put this much effort into it. And what is so unique about this Prime over every other Prime game is that this is the one game where you are truly alone, and it's part of why it's my favorite one of the Metroid Prime games, is that you don't talk to anyone throughout the course of this entire game. There is no communication. It's just it. And in Prime 2 you talk to Luminoth, and in Prime 3 you have other bounty hunters and stuff like that going on. Like there's the generals of the Galactic Federation you talk to in that game.
Right.
Prime 1 is nothing but
did you turn
solitude.
the narration on?
I didn't. I thought about it, and then I was like, I really just want to experience this exactly the way that I did in the first place, and then the next time I play through it, I'll try the narration. Because like there's a whole I really intro like it thing, and they just like announce the areas, right? Was that what it is?
There was some more than that so far. Not much.
Yeah, I know there was like a whole little story bit in the beginning. I watched that a YouTube video of that. It's like, all right, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go in the way that I remember it right now,
right?
And just kind of go in that way the first time. But I'm gonna play through it more than once. There's no question. That's one of the main reasons I wanted this one physical so bad, because who knows when they'll do it again. The fact that they're shortchanging so many places on this really speaks to me of like Nintendo still not respecting how beloved this game is. I don't think Nintendo Japan knows how much this game is revered in the States, because they frequently don't pay attention to what's going on in America. You know, I'm sure Nintendo of America is well aware of what's going on with Metroid Prime, but like the fact that this game just kind of got shadow dropped and is showed up in stores 2 days before Kirby launched. Yeah, like
it's kind of wild.
It feels a little afterthought-ish, especially considering how much. I mean, it's selling pretty well. It's been at the top of the eShop charts since it launched. Yeah, that's 2 solid weeks at the top of the eShop charts for Metroid Prime. That's great. People are buying this goddamn game, and that is fantastic. And because it is more playable now than it has ever been before, like you said, I'm very, very excited about this showing beyond a shadow of a doubt that there really is a market for this game. Like Metroid Prime launched on GameCube, was a very successful thing on GameCube, but it was still on GameCube, and it had completely unorthodox controls, where everybody's used to playing Halo with dual analog controls. Metroid went this completely other way. Metroid Prime 2 launches against Halo 2 on Xbox. Did well for itself, but not nearly as well as it could have, because it went up against fucking Halo 2. Metroid Prime 3 was on the Wii, a system that nobody was buying to play first-person shooters on.
Certainly
and while
not.
they got the motion controls were very interesting in that game, it still was a barrier of entry, because your Wii Sports player isn't playing Metroid Prime. They're not in it for these kinds of games, and most people who are into first-person shooters are not going out of their way to buy them on the Wii, because the other platforms are doing them so much better, especially with the lack of HD graphics.
Yeah.
And then the fact that Metroid Prime Trilogy came out, again, on Wii, neat. You added these pointer controls to the first 2 games in a forced widescreen perspective, but we're still on a platform where a platform that has a huge install base that nobody wants to buy these kinds of games for.
Yeah.
So then the Metroid Prime Trilogy gets released digital on Wii U, a platform that nobody has.
Yeah.
So this game has been absolutely beloved by critics and the people who have played it for decades. This is a massively loved game. It's often considered one of the best games ever made. And it has never been on the right platform to get it into a whole lot of people's hands. So with all this literal decades of just word of mouth talking about how great this game is, similar to how Dread took off as much as it did. Like, oh, there's finally a platform where I can play a Metroid game that's not a dinky little handheld with 2 screens, or I can finally experience what's the deal with Metroid? Let's give that a try. And then they did.
Right.
Looks gorgeous. The game was a huge success. And now we're seeing it again with this remake of Prime. I think if this game continues to sell as well as it does, it will really show Nintendo that the effort they're putting into Prime 4 is absolutely worth it, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it also makes me pretty excited to see that, you know, this franchise could really get its feet under it and be as good as big of a seller as it has always deserved to be.
And I have to imagine it's gonna be. I really do, like, because when I was walking around, I was really hoping earlier in the week when I was walking around that I was gonna find a store with an employee who just didn't give a shit and had already put out Metroid Prime, so I could just be like, "Oh look, I got it fucking early. I'm fucking awesome." But I kept seeing in every store I went to a couple different Walmarts, Targets, and Best Buys, just like in my travels last week and whatever. Really, what I went out looking for last week was Weezer's Blue Album on vinyl, and just didn't find it anywhere, which still makes me very sad.
That's a bummer. I have that one.
Do you? Man, I fucking want it so bad. I really do. It's such a perfect record.
It is. I got it for dirt cheap. I think off like Tower Records or something. It was.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's on Amazon for like $15 or $16, but I'm trying to like support. I went to my local record stores first. Like, I've got a couple different places by me that usually have most of the shit that I'm like looking for or whatever. But they didn't happen to have it. So I was like, all right, let me check like Walmart and Target. Like, I know that they have records and shit. They probably don't have the Weezer record. Mm-hmm. You know, and I picked up a couple other things instead of the Weezer record. But I'm gonna fucking get it. It's a perfect record. Weezer's my favorite band. Like, I have to have the Blue Album. I can't get Pinkerton because they won't fucking re-release that on vinyl, and I'm not paying hundreds of dollars for it. You'd fuck right off with that.
It's on Tower Records right now for $25.
Yeah, it's 15 on Amazon.
No, Pinkerton.
Pinkerton is?
I'm looking at it right now. I'll send you the link.
Fuck me running.
It's on sale, $25.74 from $27.98.
Son of a bitch.
Vinyl LP. Here, I'll send you the link.
Please do. I will be. I might be Tower fucking Records. I didn't even know they still existed in any capacity whatsoever.
They get a lot of good vinyl there. I order stuff from them. You know, not all the time. I don't buy a lot of vinyl, but they're one of the first places I check. I'm on their newsletter and stuff. They have an absolute ton of vinyl available through there. I think, you know, mail order vinyl is part of what keeps them alive. But yeah,
for my money, the Blue Album is a perfect album, and Pinkerton is better. I think Pinkerton is one of the greatest records ever fucking recorded.
Pinkerton is great. I'm considering buying it too.
Even if you don't like, I feel like Pinkerton is one of the few albums that I would argue that everybody should own. You know, like, I think everybody should own a copy of Bob Marley Legend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, Bob Marley's greatest hits. I think everybody, doesn't matter what your musical taste is, like, that's a record that you should just have. Like, it's a record, a tape, a CD, or whatever format you want. You should have that available at all times, because there are sometimes that Bob Marley's Legend is literally the only thing that can fit that particular situation. Feel the same way with the Postal Service's Get Up, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yeah, like, there's just a couple records everybody should have, and I would also argue
we got
that
Thriller. Karen found
Pinkerton
Thriller at a yard sale.
No, that's Thriller is the biggest selling vinyl album of all time, and I have never seen it used at any fucking record store I've ever gone to. I don't know how that's possible. The record stores around me, I'll tell you what, if you want the fucking Anne Murray catalog, whoever the fuck that is, I can get you that 3 times over. Like, it was weird. I was looking through the fucking the used bin or whatever, the one record shop I go to, the fucking Berlin Record Museum, they have a bunch of boxes up front that's like the new vintage vinyl or whatever that's just come in. And somebody had just traded in the whole fucking Anne Murray catalog. Because as I'm flipping through the jackets and whatever, her hair kept getting shorter as she got older through like the fucking record sleeves. It was so funny. But like, I can get you Anne Murray like twice over. I can get you Engelbert Humperdinck. You could have as much Engelbert fucking Humperdinck as you want. The Goodwills around here, fucking lousy with Engelbert Humperdinck. That guy must be a gajillionaire with the fucking records of his that I've seen. Thriller, can't fucking find it.
I'm looking for the first two Ben Folds 5 albums. That's what I really want.
I'll keep an eye.
Yeah, they were in print a few years ago before I got my record player. So like,
yeah,
I seem to have completely missed out on that. No, they might come around again someday. They'll get repressed maybe in like another 10 years or something. They seem to do a lot of this stuff on
record store day fucking exclusive bullshit,
anniversaries and shit like that. But Ben Folds 5 and Whatever Never Amen, those two in particular are like, I absolutely adore those albums, and you know, I'll listen to them on my MP3 player all day long.
Oh, for sure.
But it's like the ones that really mean something to me, like the ones that were like the formative ones for me growing up, like those are the ones that I really want to have. And those two, I like Cake's catalog. Cake was really weird, right? Because they did when they released their stuff on vinyl right now. Oh, look, there is a couple of them on vinyl now. They did a box set a few years ago. It was like the only way to get their shit on vinyl was to buy this box set of every one of their albums for like $1,000. It's like,
oh, fuck that.
What is wrong with you people? You're so weird.
I like Cake, but not that much.
I love Cake, but yeah, again, not that much.
Not that much.
Every single one of their albums. But yeah, Tower has got Fashion Nugget, which is not my favorite album, but they have Prolong the Magic on vinyl. 24. Oh, I really want that. I have $0 to spend on things, but God, what a good album this is.
It's so good.
That's been on my list for a while. Oh, I would love that one. I really want Motorcade of Generosity. That's their first album, but I don't see that. I don't see that anywhere printed on vinyl outside of that ridiculous freaking box set. So, but anyway, that's a
so
totally
as I was looking around
Metroid
for
Prime,
fucking
good stuff.
as I was looking around for Weezer albums, Metroid Dread is fucking everywhere. Multiple copies of it at every store I went to. Prime. I have to imagine Prime will get to that point at some.
Oh yeah,
as
for sure.
well.
Well, Dread was never really sold out. It was that collector's edition that was sold out.
Oh and sure, but I'm just saying, like, Dread was like such a, and it just kind of happened, and it was like, oh, it's fucking coming out. That's so exciting. It's coming out soon, and it's still readily available. I would have to imagine that with the success that Prime has had, they're not going to be like, well, fuck it, you can't have any more. You know what I mean? Like, we'll make some more. It's fine. It
would be a Nintendo-ass thing to do, but yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be a super limited thing. I think it's going to be. I honestly think this is Nintendo not making enough of them, being like, yeah, this is going to sell moderate at best, and no, it sold really well.
And then they'll make some more, and don't fucking buy it on eBay. Do not feed the fucking scalpers. Fuck those guys. So hard. Get a job. God damn it. I feel so old. Stop fucking ripping people off. Stop being a dick. You're such a dick. Stop it. You're such a fucking Darren. I hate it.
My name is Darren, and I am not a dick. Fucking great.
Oh man. All right. Let's do some commercials time. and then get sad.
Tell me I've seen exactly one thing from the State of Play, and it made me very, very happy. So
okay. There's a couple things that made me really happy, but
I don't know much else about it, so this ought to be a fun experience. All right, we're going to take ourselves a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk State of Play. Dan's going to lead the charge on talking State of Play. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, Kris. What do I say all the time?
You say, what is it? Come?
Yes.
No, it's the opposite. It's go. That's it.
Go, Power Rangers. I fucking love the Power Rangers. I really do. You love the Power Rangers. I don't know if that's true or not, but you should love the fucking Power Rangers. Super Sentai shit is just awesome. But especially, Kris, if we're being honest, you've got a show here, and a comic book, and a video game series, and a toy franchise, and clothing, and socks, and underoos that are both mighty and morphin. It's both of those things. It would be awesome if it was mighty. It would be awesome if it was morphin. It is mighty and morphin. It's amazing.
Yep.
Since everyone loves these color-coded heroes, it should come as no surprise that there were a number of video games based on the property. In fact, there were not one, not two, but 3 whole fucking Power Rangers games on the SNES alone. And the fine folks, my favorite people in the entire planet, over at the SNES podcast covered all 3 in one episode. A truly superhuman feat. I'd even say it was worthy of the Power Rangers themselves. Get my boys a fucking morpher. That's all I'm saying. Don't miss all the Mighty Morphin action on the SNES podcast, episode 205, the Power Rangers Trilogy.
I believe it's pronounced triology.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The F
You are an erudite professor, so I will go with triology from now on. Thank you.
Next on this week's
I do love
episode,
those guys. Just as a quick aside, I know we kind of like joke around through our commercials every time. Fucking SNES podcast is a really good fucking podcast, and you should listen to it. They're good dudes. They do a really good show.
They are good dudes. They do a really good show. I agree with you. We've had them on this show, and they have been fun.
Wonderful people. Yes.
Speaking of wonderful podcasts, on this week's episode, it was Angie's pick, and she decided to bring a show called Upload to the table. And you know what? It was pretty gosh dang good. It's about death, but in a fun way.
Oh, I love fun death.
Oh, it's a really, really good show. I'm gonna watch it eventually. It had to go immediately back onto the back burner because of everything that's happening on TV in the next couple of weeks. I mean, fucking hell, we've got Bad Batch still going. Picard just started. Party Down was tonight.
Oh shit!
Tonight.
That's right.
Mandalorian starts on Wednesday. History of the World starts on March 6th. Ted Lasso season 3 is March 15th. Shadow and Bone season 2 is March 16th. I don't have dates for anything past that, but holy shit, just that little territory right there. Plus, we just got into Letterkenny. We're still trying to finish Harley Quinn. We watched the first episode of Severance, and that's back burner as well.
I don't know if I can watch this History of the World show. I don't know if I can.
You want us to watch it first?
What if it's bad?
There's every possibility that it could be. You should have
really
somebody you trust watch it first.
I should. If only there were a podcast that could tell me what I should be watching.
Sadly, there isn't.
Oh
wait, there is. It's called This Week's Episode.
Son of a bitch, I'm on it.
Plus, Angie goes on way too long about Supernatural. I drone on even longer about Star Wars, and Karen and Evan talk about some stuff too. Be sure to tune into this week's episode 262, It's Acceptable Murder.
It's my favorite kind of murder. Finally, in an all-new episode of Sparkcast, how would you like to learn all about a simple story from a 16-page sticker book, Kris? How would you like that?
I would like it pretty well.
I think you would. What can be told, colored, and stickered in that amount of space? Oh, Sean's most hated Autobots, Gears, and Huffers show up with, gasp, dialogue. It's the worst Transformers story. It's the worst Transformers, sorry, in a story about the mystery of the stolen oil. Plus, the team tries to find out if one Autobot is Optimus Prime, despite the fact that he left already. Is it a clone? A mix of Gears and Optimus due to having to learn so many characters? What does all that mean? We'll find out in Sparkcast episode 72, Sticker Book, Revenge of the Decepticons. Triload. No, there's no trial.
For all this and more from us and our partners. I said morph.
Modofk.
For all this and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com. This one's for you, Morph!
Sparkcast, also a good show. They do good stuff. You should listen to it.
But clear sailing from here. Okay, we're back. We're back and ready ready to discuss the state of play. Sony had a state of play a couple days yesterday, right?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
2 days
Wednesday.
ago, as of
Wednesday.
this recording. It'll be like a week
maybe
and a half
Thursday
by the time you guys hear this.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't any time since when this podcast has hit your ear holes.
But it happened. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't really watch much of anything of it. I saw the Street Fighter 6 stuff, which made me super happy. But I guess we'll get to there. Dan, why don't you?
We will.
Why don't you walk us through State of Play?
Well, I was pretty excited for this State of Play because of how good I felt Nintendo's last thing was. I was like, oh man, Sony announced one after seeing what Nintendo fucking brought. They are going to be bringing the hot shit. And they brought the lukewarm shit at best. I feel after watching this, it was room temperature shit.
My favorite.
Fucking just yeah. So the State of Play starts with the big thing, and this is legitimately a big deal, and I would be way more excited about it if I had one. But the first thing they showed off were 5 PlayStation VR 2 games. And PlayStation VR 2 is out. It looks fucking awesome. I really, really want one. Except, I don't feel like the killer app is out for it yet. Right? Like with the original PlayStation VR, Beat Saber, I feel like is one of the killer apps. That was a game that was out pretty early in its life, and it's just so goddamn fun. It's so goddamn fun that it's like, yeah, this, I get it. This has me sold on it. And what they showed off here, the first 5 games, they showed off a steampunky looking shooter thing called the Foglands, and then like a survival
this is the thing
shooter.
With the guy with the cards, right? Okay,
yeah,
there's Foglands.
And then a survival shooter called Green Hell. And
Very
then
rainy.
Yeah, and then like a first-person futuristic shooter called Synapse, and then
this doesn't look very good. This survival one, I gotta say.
No, it doesn't.
It's not looking like a. I mean, I get that this is VR, so there's a lot going on there, but just from a graphical fidelity standpoint,
it doesn't look great.
Metroid Prime looks better than this.
Yeah. And then they followed that up with one that does look pretty cool called
Green
Synapse
VR.
Blech, it was a stupid fucking name.
Okay,
Synapse looks kind of cool.
We got some. Everything's black and white except for some trippy colors.
Yeah, it's got kind of like some psycho kinetic kind of stuff going on. Like you could pick up some stuff and throw it around the environment. That looks pretty cool. But it was again a shooter. And then they follow that up with a role-playing shooter that is based on Isaac Asimov's Foundation novels, which is an incredible series of books. But those 4 games, I feel like were incredibly interchangeable. The first 4 that they showed, it was like, okay, this is all kind of the same thing. And that's fine, I guess. The last one they showed is this game called Before Your Eyes. And this game, the premise of it seems to be, and I'm just going to talk like I know what I'm talking about without actually having done any additional research. It is a narrative story-focused game where the way you advance the plot of the story that's being told is through blinking your eyes. And every time you blink your eyes, the story jumps forward. So
Skybound Games. Why do I know them?
Skybound?
Yeah.
Because that is Robert Kirkman's Image Comics imprint that put out Invincible and The Walking Dead.
There it is. Okay.
So this looks really cool. Like, it's got a decent pedigree behind it. The idea of, like, every time you... Like, if you think about it, subconsciously we blink all the time. So if you're trying to play a video game and either blink or not blink because you're into a certain part of the story, like, there's a really cool idea there.
I feel like it would drive me fucking nuts, but you're right. It's a cool idea.
It's a really cool idea, but nothing that they showed here was like, yup, this new $500 piece of tech, I got to go out and get it. Have to. Like, here's the
just
killer
looking
thing
at this
for
here,
it.
I'm right with you. I'm not sold on this. I mean, Beat Saber looks amazing. I'm still not buying a PSVR for it because it, like, I don't know, to me, PSVR and like Beat Saber was the Nintendo land for PSVR. It's the killer app that shows what it's capable of, but I never saw anything else beyond that was like, yep, it's now 100% worth it to get this thing for a bunch of other games too.
Moss was incredible. That game, I think, really, like, I think if you sat down and played Moss, you would be like, yep, I totally get it, and I would legitimately want to own this to play through this game. It's so creative and well done and an interesting use of the technology, and it feels really good to play in all of those things. I think it's great. Nothing that they showed sold me on, like, I need to go drop $500 on this right now. At some point, I would love to have it. I love VR. I think it's really cool. It's definitely still like the future of video games. To a certain degree,
I'm not sold on VR yet myself. So
yeah, I love it. I think it's great. The first 4 games they showed, like I said, I felt were completely interchangeable. Nothing really stood out about them. I would suggest humbly that you skip playing Journey to Foundation and just read the fucking books, because they're really good. The blinking thing before your eyes looked really cool, but whatever. They then followed that up with Destiny 2 Lightfall, which is the next...
of this gameplay? There we are. Finally got to gameplay. I've been watching that trailer this entire time you've been talking, and it has just been a big CG cutscene extravaganza. I was like, what does the game look like? Is this Destiny? I saw Bungie, as I assumed it was.
Yeah.
But
Destiny 2, the next expansion, Lightfall, looks, if you're a fan of Destiny 2, this looks kind of right up your alley. But it did nothing to sell me on it. I liked the first Destiny enough, but this was like, okay, I just don't... This guy's got a really big fucking weird head.
The guy with the weird liquidy wavy head going on?
Yeah,
that was
like, that's... Okay, that's kind of cool looking, but
it all looks neat, I guess, but there was like...
But I don't care.
4 to 5 seconds of gameplay in there.
Yeah,
I don't care.
This is for... If you like Destiny, this is more Destiny. If you're not sold on Destiny yet, I don't think this did anything to sell you.
Agreed.
So the first 6 games into this fucking state of play, and I was like, oh boy, swings and misses for me personally. But then they followed it up with this game called Chia, and Chia looks it's Moana adjacent, which is fine. I like Moana quite a bit. I thought that was a great movie.
Have we seen this before?
I don't think so.
this is looking weirdly familiar, but I don't know if it's just because it's reminding me of something else similar to this that they showed off at a previous E3 or something.
That's certainly possible. I thought this looked wonderful. I thought it looked charming. You know, I love these kind of cool indie adventure type games. That's like really right up my alley, especially like when they're puzzle solving and environmental puzzles and that kind of thing. Super into it. And at the end of the trailer, they were like, and it will be hitting PlayStation Plus on March 21st, the day it releases. Fucking awesome.
Get a little Game Pass action going in there. Good job.
Yeah. Super into it. This game looked really cool, really charming.
Okay. This silly ass animation they got going on. I'm at the point where they're saying they're doing the announcement. And with all the little squares and circles tumbling across the screen, it just looks dumb as shit, guys. What are you doing? They got the cute little cartoony smoke clouds. What the hell is this?
Yeah, some weird looking shit.
That is a strange presentation.
Yeah. So after that, Chia,
that looks okay. That looks it was all right.
That looks cool.
The character's art direction itself was very PS1 cutscene. Like the world it's in, the game itself looks pretty cool. With that. Just the I think it's very interesting, like as a PlayStation thing, like obviously I don't think they're publishing this. This is an indie thing, right?
Yeah.
The fact that like just from a visual level, this is so distinctly obviously like leagues and leagues above what you would find on PlayStation 1, but it looks like
a PlayStation game. It feels PlayStation.
It's very PlayStation in its presentation, and it's neat to see like now we're getting games that look like PS1 CG cutscenes, right? Because like the games never looked like that, right? And then, not even PS2 really hit that, and then by that point, once PS3 starts hitting, we're getting considerably more detailed polygons and stuff like that. It kind of leapfrogged straight over being able to play something that looks like a PS1 cutscene. So I think that's kind of a charming thing about this to me, is that it looks like a PS1 cutscene. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, I was kind of into that, right? Looked pretty cool. So then they follow that up with the announcement of like, hey, it's when we normally announce what the PlayStation Plus games will be for the next month. So let's go ahead and do that. So for March, the PlayStation Plus lineup is getting Battlefield 2042. Which, okay, cool. It's Battlefield 2042. That's fine. Minecraft Dungeons. So, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess.
It's a pretty fun game.
And then a Bandai Namco joint, Code Vein, will be coming out. And, okay, all of that's fine. Not anything that I would necessarily, run out and buy. But whatever, that's fine. You're also getting Chia, as well as later in the month when they add to the catalog, they will be adding Uncharted: The Legacy of Thieves collection. So if you haven't played that, fucking outstanding game. Rainbow Six Extraction, which was the one with the weird alien shit going on. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in Rainbow Six that apparently I am not aware of, but whatever. Immortals Phoenix Rising, but the big one that I am the most excited about coming in March is a game that I wanted to buy and just haven't yet, which is Ghostwire Tokyo. I thought that looked really cool, that kind of first person weird, crazy, bunch of Oni floating around, and it just looked really really cool and anime bullshit, and I was super into the idea of it. But it just hadn't gone on sale enough yet, and now I don't have to worry about that because it's coming later in March. So right there, the PlayStation Plus stuff, I was like, all right, sweet, I'm back in. They then followed that up with the trailer for the new game by the people who made Res Infinite and Tetris Effect. And that is a game called Humanity. And I have no idea what the fuck is happening in this trailer. it starts off and it says, one day you wake up and you're a dog. And then there's just a bunch of people walking around.
People
and
everywhere.
Some of them are following you, and some of them aren't. And it's a puzzle game somehow. And I don't know what the fuck is happening.
It's like, it's sort of like Lemmings, kinda.
Kind of? I am
because like the people
fascinated by what's happening.
Death, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks wild. I am into this.
Looks super insane. And god damn it, there's like big gold fuckers walking around. I don't know what that's about. And like, it's going to be on PS5, PS4, VR, VR2. It has community creation. This looks insane, but like a really fun type of insane.
They should have had this in the beginning when they were showing off that VR stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is different. There's a crazy lightsaber battle going on right now.
Yeah, what the fuck is happening?
What is this? This looks bonkers. Oh, I'm very interested in this. This looks wild.
Yeah, like I felt very much like Leonardo DiCaprio in fucking Django Unchained. Like, now you have my attention. You know, like I was, what the fuck is even going on? This is a weird thing. You're a weird, like, ghost dog, and there's just people literally everywhere. You can make puzzles, but I don't know. But this, I thought, was a very effective trailer for a really weird looking thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Super into it.
Yeah, same here. That's my favorite thing I've seen so far.
Then they follow it up with Goodbye Volcano High. And this is anthropomorphized dinosaurs
playing
in
guitars.
High school, and they're concerned about whether or not they should be focusing so much on their band when there is a meteor that seems like it's going to hit the Earth and wipe all of them out. And it seems like a combination of like visual novel plus rhythm game with kind of like weirdly furry-esque dinosaur stuff going on. I watched the trailer for Humanity and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm so interested. And then I watched the trailer for Goodbye Volcano High and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm so concerned. It's kind of like how I felt.
Okay, that last one looks really cool, but is PlayStation okay?
Yeah, I was like,
what? Have a talk?
What is?
I gotta say, I'm not feeling this one. I'm not feeling this dinosaur one. Goodbye Volcano High. I'm not feeling.
I love the name. I love the name. Goodbye Volcano High for dinosaurs, like at the end of the world. I don't even dislike, I don't care, like I'm not judging, like you're a furry, you're into dinosaurs, like whatever, all that's like fucking totally cool with me. Do whatever you're into. It just looks wrong. Like there's something about the proportions of the way that the characters are animated or drawn that just feels off in a way that is mildly uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, there's something very unsettling about that entire situation.
It just doesn't look right. I feel like there's an interesting idea here, and like progressing a narrative story and rhythm elements in the band and all of that. Like I'm totally cool with all of that. It just doesn't look very good. Yeah, like aesthetically, I didn't think it looked very good. So that was like a super weird, like. So now this is a weird show now at this point. Like they said that this is going to be like a focus on third party and indie games. I was like, all right, sweet. Like I love third party and indie games, especially indie games. I know what indie game I was hoping was going to show up. Spoilers, nothing was announced about fucking Silk Song. That's the only one. I was like, yes, indie game. It didn't show up at Nintendo's thing. It was in a Microsoft thing like 6 months ago. Now we're going to get some Silk Song shit. Nope. Didn't fucking happen. Whatever. So, it's a weird show now. They then follow Goodbye Volcano High up with Naruto Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. And this looks...
Just towing the line right up against Square Enix in terms of too many words in your name.
Yeah. I never got into the Naruto series. Like, I know people love Naruto. Love Naruto. And I think if you're a fan of Naruto and these games, like, this was probably really awesome for you.
Is this a new one, or is this a remake of an old one?
It's like a combination of all of the Ninja Storm games, kind of mashed all into one with like a new story mode. And from the thing that I'm reading, there are 124 playable characters, minimum.
Good Lord.
With like more shit being added. And that is way too many playable characters. It's just, that is an absurd amount of characters.
It's a lot of Naruto.
For what it is, looks really good.
Yeah, this Bandai Namco is always especially starting with the PS3 Ultimate Ninja Storm games.
Yeah,
they really nailed the look, the cell shading on that. Like, it still looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good. I know that those games are very well liked. The Ninja Storm games, like, not only are they well liked because, like, oh, we got a Naruto game and it's cool, like the way we felt about Budokai the first time we played it.
Yeah.
But, like, they're well liked because they're, like, good games.
Yeah.
On top of it. So, mashing all of that together, giving it, this really does seem like people really love this. Let's mash it all together, give them more of what they want. And, like, I support that. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to buy it. It's not for me, but this looked really cool. From
we got
there,
more rolling shapes.
Yeah, then some more rolling shapes. But from there, they go to what I imagine is supposed to be a big reveal of Baldur's Gate 3 coming to PlayStation 5.
Right.
And man, I'm not a huge Baldur's Gate fan. Like, I played the other two and like Dark Alliance or whatever the fuck it was called. And it was fine. This, I thought, looked awful.
It's got
like,
that, I want to say Uncanny Valley thing going on there, but at the same time, like, the actual animations in the world itself aren't really knocking my socks off. But
everything about this looked terrible to me.
I'm looking for a good thing. I'm looking to contradict you here, right? I'm looking at the trailer.
Yeah, no, I know you are.
And I'm like, all right, something here. I'm not gonna say it looks bad. I don't think it looks good.
It looks.
But, I mean, the fact that it's Baldur's Gate 3, it's been a long anticipated thing. The fact that it's coming to PlayStation is a big deal because it's not coming to Xbox right away.
Right. But it looks so bad. It definitely doesn't
Baldur's
look like
Gate games ever looked good though.
But because of what they worked within the limitations of what they had.
Right. I mean, I feel like most of the actual gameplay is usually pretty camera's pretty pulled back.
It's pulled back and kind of like that here. Isometric view.
It does not seem to be the case here. This
doesn't.
Like,
and this looked
it's almost like
amateurish.
Somewhere between too detailed and not detailed enough. I can't really put my finger on it because, like, it's got that, you know,
there's a shine to it.
I was just gonna say there's a sheen on everything. That's not.
Yeah,
it's like everyone just stepped out of a rainstorm, and I'm looking at this one cinematic with this chick with the white hair. She's got all this black eyeliner on. So, and I can't put my finger on it, but like her skin's really shiny.
Yeah,
like she's super oily or something, and like I can see all of her pores. Bad. But her eyebrows look like magic marker. So it's like you got a lot of detail and a lot of not detail all crumpled up in the same place.
Yeah.
It's having a really not great look to it. I
was very upset looking at it. I'm sure it's going to sell great because it's Baldur's Gate,
Exactly, and as long as it's fun, as long as it delivers on the things that Baldur's Gate fans like, I don't think any of these nitpicks are going to be a problem. I do, however, think that it's probably not going to get much in the way of a new audience because it's not an attractive game, and other games with like swords and sorcery and stuff like that look way cooler than this. I was really surprised, like watching this trip, because it doesn't come out and say at the beginning that it's Baldur's Gate 3, and maybe other people recognize that right away, and they're like, oh fuck, it's Baldur's Gate. Yes. There's Baldur. There's the gate. Shit, it's real.
There's the gate. They're both right there. Son of a bitch. They weren't fucking hiding that at all. You just had to be looking. So, like, but because I didn't know it was Baldur's Gate 3, when it was like Baldur's Gate, I was like, wow, I expected, based on the pedigree that Baldur's Gate has, just from, like, not pedigree is the wrong word, the popularity that the Baldur's Gate franchise had, this is not what I expected. Like, even a little bit. I thought this looked absolutely terrible.
I mean, I don't think I'm as turned off by it as you are, but at the same time, this is kind of exactly what I expect a modern Baldur's Gate to look like. I feel like those games never had much of a budget to begin with. They were just all built on gameplay.
Fun. Yeah. And maybe this will be a lot of fun, and I hope people that love Baldur's Gate love this. It didn't convince me that I needed to try this one. The next game that they showed...
Hold on.
What?
Karen sent me a picture. We might get a little bit of snow tomorrow. Snow showers developing in the afternoon tomorrow. Don't get my hopes up like that.
Yeah, don't just rub the tip. Like, that's not... Just don't do that.
Okay, so this next one looks really colorful. What the heck is this next one?
Yeah, so Wayfinder is the next one they showed. It's an online multiplayer game, fantasy world. There's a beta coming out on February 28th. It looks incredibly interchangeable with any other online multiplayer loot box. They didn't say that there's going to be a ton of like pay to play or pay to win options, but like that's what this game is.
Yeah,
it looks fine. The bosses look cool. Like, it looks like there's some fun to be had there, but I am so soured on like the live service kind of games.
Everybody is. We don't even no.
It just
we don't need to talk about this because of what's coming next.
But then, so really up and down show at this point. It really just kind of all over the place. Whatever. But then, god damn it, Street Fighter 6.
This game
3 more characters.
So good. I'm so excited about it. Oh my god.
Zangief,
Kicking
Lily,
off with Zangief,
and Cammy.
Wearing pants
and a luchador mask that gets fucking knocked off.
Oh my god.
It looks so good.
I'm looking at all of his new moves. Like, I hate Zangief. I think he's a great character.
Zangief.
I am terrible at him. I am terrible using him, and I am terrible against him. Zangief and Hugo are have always been my biggest weaknesses. But just as the character, I love the guy. And I'm looking at his new moves. He looks fan-freaking-tastic. Looks incredible. His poses. Oh god.
And he looks a little bit quicker.
A little bit, yeah.
Than he has in the past. And I feel like that was the one. I always felt like Zangief was just a little bit too slow.
She's pretty lumbering. Well, that's the thing. You got to keep him balanced, because if you give him too much speed, then he's just out of control. So, but I trust them. I trust them to balance this, right? I trust them to balance this. I love that they gave him pants. I'm loving all of the updated looks so far.
Yep, he looks great.
I did not like them in Street Fighter V. For the most part, I just did not like the way the characters looked in Street Fighter V.
Now, I feel like this looks way better.
It does. The art direction and the character designs themselves are looking very good. I'm just thrilled to see Zangief wearing pants. I'm just thrilled by it. Now, this next girl, Lily,
Did we know her before?
No, this was a new character reveal.
She's brand new. Okay, I thought so.
Very curious to see if she's going to be somehow like this looks is a very Native American setting, if I'm not mistaken. I can't tell.
I'm
curious if she's related to T-Hawk somehow.
Yeah, there's definitely some Native American iconography, like in her costuming,
and her stage. I'm loving this moveset. Like
she looks awesome.
She does. She looks pretty funny. I like her.
She looks really fun to play.
I don't know what those weapons she's using are, but she looks cute as hell. I'm into that. I think she looks really cool.
And then Cammy looked great.
I cannot fucking believe that the internet did not rip this to shreds because Cammy's also wearing pants. And that's like, no, how fucking dare you? She needs to be wearing a leotard as little as possible. But like, they pulled this shit off. Cammy's awesome. Great. But like, a big portion of her draw for a lot of people is her sex appeal. And the fact that they put that stretch pose right in the middle there, where she sticks her ass out and does that stretch, like, you know exactly who you're pandering to right here. And it's fucking working. Because like, I'm just thrilled to see her covered up in some way, shape, or form, wearing, not a bathing suit. I think this costume looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think it looked great. It's still, because there, again, like I said earlier, I'm not judging. There's nothing wrong with your female characters in a game being realistically sexy. I don't see anything wrong with that. There's a difference between like attractive, sexy characters and cheesecake, and there's certainly a place for that. Think back to like that Rumble Roses game, right? You remember that? I don't see anything wrong with that, even a little bit. I really honestly don't. It always felt a little bit weird in certain games. Cammy felt a little strange in her prior costuming with the really high cut, high-waisted, leotard thing that she was wearing.
As it was definitely brainwashed bison soldier. I get it. It made a certain degree of sense. But now I love seeing this evolution of her.
This is like realistic.
The Jack action. Jack.
It makes sense. Yeah, like it makes sense.
The move
for the world that they're building. I'm still not entirely sure how this game is going to play. Like this whole fucking like hub thing that they're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
that looks pretty fun. I'm curious about it. It's ambitious. I'll give it that.
Yeah, like I hope it ends up being awesome. I'm very, very excited for this game. Everything I've seen about this game, I've gotten more and more excited as I learn more about it.
This was great. One of her moves is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a callback to the Street Fighter 2 movie. Not the live action one, the animated one. The original Street Fighter 2, the anime thing.
Yeah,
with the Chun-Li
I haven't seen that in so long. Yeah.
I saw somebody, I saw this on, so I watched this trailer, and I was like, that looks familiar. Was that one of her super moves in a previous game? And then somebody posted like, oh my god, it's from the Street Fighter movie. It's like, holy shit, it is. And then I looked up the scene from the movie where she walks up to some dude on the street or whatever with this like blind zombie look on her face. She jumps up on their shoulders, twists their neck around, and then swings her feet in and kicks them in the back of the knees. It's the exact same move from that fucking movie. I love that. Yeah. Her moveset looks, her moves look sick. I'm liking that the cannon drill seems to be doing a lot of multi-hits, which is neat. Like it's like it hits, it drills more instead of like kind of knocking you down on the second or third hit. It seems like it's got more of a drill mechanic to it. Yeah. I'm liking her.
It looks like it's got a bit more she's travel on it too.
And you can like kind of maybe chain it like going up and down. I'm thinking I'm loving her new hairstyle.
This looks great. It looks great.
This looks fantastic.
This looks awesome.
They're just nailing it. This is the only thing I had seen from State of Play. After the only problem the only trouble that I have with this game is the fucking box art. Capcom, you have to do something. You need to do better than this.
That weird...
It's just
SF
the guy.
and then switched to the side. Like, I hate the logo.
I don't mind the logo anymore. I have gotten over the logo. The box is just the one dude. I don't even think he's new for this game. I think he's just the new dude that was in Street Fighter V, but like this is the new version of him. And it's literally just him with a stupid look on his face and his fist sticking up. You have all this great character art. You could do so much better than this. Please, I'm begging you, do something other than this for the box for this game because it looks amazing.
Maybe
the cover art looks
maybe there will
be
some like really dope alternative art on the inside.
I want there to be an alternate art that has like Blanca, Chun-Li, and Ryu on it, and it's just like a play on the Super Nintendo box. Oh my goodness, Resident Evil 4. Okay.
Yeah, so then
I didn't watch this.
We follow it up with Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
And this looks really good.
What's going on with Ashley? Why does she look sick? Did she...
Leon...
I do not remember her getting infected in that game, but it's been too long since I've played through it.
She's like... it's been a long time, too. I do not remember Leon being this chatty. And he's got a lot of jokes in this remake. He's talking a lot while he's fighting. And maybe that's just the trailer. Am I just not remembering that from Resident Evil 4?
I'm not sure.
Does he talk a lot of shit while the game is happening?
I don't remember there being all that much. Okay, this is what I wanted to see. Either. I heard there was a big change to the Krauser fight. It's nice to see the cult stuff from later on, right? Because I haven't seen any of that in the trailer so far. It's always been like the village stuff in the beginning, so it's nice to see what some of this culty, crazy endgame stuff looks like.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It actually looks cute. All right,
it looks really good.
But I forget this guy's name is Luis, the guy that's with Luis, who's with him. Luis. All right. He looks pretty good. Got a weird looking face. All right. We got a minecart. This is looking pretty sexy.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
I freaking love Resident Evil 4. I really do.
They've done
gonna be hard not to buy this.
Such a good job with these remakes. The Resident Evil 2 remake was awesome. The Resident Evil 3 remake was awesome. I don't see any reason why 4 would be any different. This looks great. I don't love 4 the way that you do. Certainly.
I know you don't.
But I am excited for this. I think this looks really, really awesome.
All right, that Krauser fight does look pretty cool. It doesn't look... They changed it up where it's not... The Krauser fight was like this crazy QTE extravaganza, but it was cool. This looks like it's more QTE interspersed with some regular action. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, these two games
coming to PS4, right? This isn't just next gen.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm on the little screen here. It's
like 90%.
I know the Mercenaries is getting added as a free update or something.
Yep.
Where's that? And PS4, PS5. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can technically get this. It kind of like hurts my heart to know that, like, all right, well, it's going to be on next gen systems too, and that's probably where it's going to be really awesome. But I don't have the money to buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series, whatever the fuck. So I have a PlayStation 4. So
I was really, really impressed with the lighting in that trailer. The lighting pretty. I thought looked really cool and really, really smart. Like stuff that they just couldn't do back on the GameCube, PS2, 3, whatever the fuck it came out on. I thought it looked like a really good update. Like I said, the other remakes that they've done have been just outstanding. Like they've really taken what worked and made it better and gotten rid of the shit that didn't work. And for as good as Resident Evil 4 is, there's some shit that's kind of annoying in the game. And hopefully all of that will be fixed. So, these two trailers from Capcom, like, all right, we're back up.
Yeah, Capcom pulling some weight here. Yeah,
this looks great.
Coming with the hits. Good work.
And then we end the show with a 15-minute look.
Oh my god, that's it? This is the rest of the show?
The final game that they show, in possibly the worst named game ever, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And man, I gotta tell you, I want to care about this game. I don't, but I really want to.
I saw this summed up so perfectly well that I think it was Jason Schreier who said that one of the big problems of having extremely long and expensive development on games is that something that might seem like the really popular and cool thing to do at the time, like, I don't know, live services, might not be in vogue anymore by the time your game comes to fruition. And that is the case here, because this is gross as shit.
Yeah.
Forgetting the fact that this is... I feel like someone at DC wants the Suicide Squad to be way more popular than it is. Like,
and they're not.
They're not.
They're not. They just aren't. And that's okay. Here's kind of where I'm at with it. This is the next game in the Arkham series. They say it a bunch of times in this extended look. This is 5 years after Arkham Knight. It's the next game in the Arkham series. I loved Arkham Asylum. Right? Arkham Asylum, I thought, was just incredible. I really liked Arkham City. I thought Arkham Knight was pretty good. That is not the trend that should be happening for a game series, right? Because if the trend continues based on what I know of the live series, live service aspect of what Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is, that's not great. Tiff and I were talking about it, because I showed it to her too. Because the other part, we talked about this earlier in the year, this is Kevin Conroy's last Batman performance. That carries some weight. Whether it should or not, it does for me, personally.
And it's a bummer that it's going to be in this microtransaction riddled live service, have to be online at all times, even if
have to be online all the time. But they did stress the fact that, because I got to tell you, one thing I'm not interested in is having to play through a game with three other people that I don't know, even 3 people I do know. It's not my thing. I don't want to do it, especially in a game like this. I don't want to be like, all right. From
a gameplay perspective, this is not reminding me of Arkham at all.
It's not.
This is a third-person shooter. We're flying around and it's all shooting. I don't like this at all. I don't like one ounce of this.
I want to like it. I do. The Harley Quinn gameplay that they're showing, like, Tiff was like, what the fuck is she grappling on? There's a drone. I was just
about to say that. What is she doing?
There's a drone. She's got a drone flying with her. That's perfect. I'm in. That great way to solve that. The problem that I have...
Why is King Shark flying around?
Yes. The problem that I have at the end of the day with this game is that you've got Captain Boomerang, Deathstroke, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and King Shark. And somehow you're going to, storyline-wise, somewhere in there, make me believe that they can take down the fucking Justice League. Like, ignoring the fact that Superman is a part of the Justice League. Those
we
4 characters...
Superman's off-world.
Sure.
At the end of the day, Harley Quinn is a girl with a bat.
Is not taking down fucking Green Lantern.
She can't handle Batman.
This is an absurd premise. At the very heart of it, this is a Brainiac-controlled Justice League, right? And I know that may seem like a weird thing to get annoyed about, but like it doesn't have to be a serious game, but you have to take your source material seriously. And this is absurd. It's an absurd premise. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not digging this Harley Quinn design.
I don't like the designs of any of it.
Yeah.
I like the storyline. Yes, again, yes, is what I can tell you. I want to fucking be interested in this game. I like the idea of Captain Boomerang, that seems interesting. King Shark is voiced by Samoa Joe. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I fucking love that idea. This looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not liking anything that I'm seeing here. What I liked so much about the Arkham game was that whole feeling like Batman thing. Like, that was what was so interesting about it, was this, okay, I am going to be this character here. I'm going to be a game about this one character, and like, that's going to feel unique based around this character's moveset. Whereas this just looks like third-person shooter. This looks like Fortnite.
If you're going to make a squad-based shooter, there are other characters to pick. King Shark's not fucking one of them. Like, Deadshot, Deathstroke, the Terminator would have been fine. I'm not as big a DC guy as a Marvel guy, so I can't really tell you any others, but I know that if you were going to make a game focused primarily around a shooting mechanic and tons of visual upgrades for the weapons and all of that stuff, which again, all that live service bullshit that they're going to cram in there, that's fine. But these seem like a weird set of characters to pick if you're not going to take advantage of... And they do show like a bit later where they say like King Shark is the fucking, like, he's the tank of the group, and Captain Boomerang has these interesting like ability. But if you're not going to focus your gameplay around that, if it's still going to be primarily just a squad-based shooter, man, I just don't care. Even a little bit.
I don't understand this thing with putting Harley Quinn in all these impossible situations. Like, this is not a character that has superpowers, right?
She doesn't.
She's a lunatic with a baseball bat, and I fucking love that about her. But like,
yeah, I love Harley Quinn. She's a great character.
She's in this situation with all this like Brainiac stuff going crazy. She's with King Shark, all these people with superpowers, and she's like, I got a bat.
Let's fucking do it. It's a dumb concept. It's just, how am I supposed to suspend my disbelief to the point where I am going to play as Harley Quinn with a gun and shoot at Superman and have that be any sort of thing that makes any sense? And I'm positive. I am positive I don't even have to play the game to be positive that the fight against Superman is not going to be like, well, we shot him a bunch of times and we won. I'm sure there's something else that's going to happen. Even in this trailer, like, they show that you're getting Lex Luthor out, and like, there will be some Lex stuff, and they were like, we're going to add more playable characters and all of that's fine. But man, what a weird fucking thing this is. This is a weird, poorly named, stupid concept of a video game.
Yeah, this whole thing is a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Is a bad idea.
And I want to be wrong. I do. I want this to be awesome. Honestly, I truly do. I wanted the Avengers game to be awesome. It's not. It's okay.
Live service superhero team game is not the great idea that you think it is.
It's not.
And this in particular, if you're going to hit me over the head with this being a continuation of the Arkham thing, like, this ain't it. This doesn't seem to bear any resemblance to what made those games special.
It doesn't. And like I said, I loved Asylum. I really liked City. I thought Night was pretty good.
What about Origins? Wasn't there Arkham Origins too?
Yeah, it was pretty good too. But totally different animal though. That was more like Metroidvania 2D style thing. Like, I don't really put that in with, these third-person action-adventure kind of thing. I don't know, man. This just looks like it got a 15-minute showcase at the end of this really uneven fucking state of play. And God, I just think this is going to flop really hard. And I think that
after
really
Avengers,
sucks.
yeah, I don't think this is going to do the numbers they think it's going to do. I mean, I'm sure it'll sell something.
Really sucks. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't have a good feeling about this at all.
I don't. It feels gross. The live service stuff feels gross. That's
just not where the industry is anymore. Those things are closing down left and right. And that's not what people want to play anymore. This game was clearly planned out back when every company was just like, live services. We can get infinite money forever. We just have to get people to dedicate their lives to our game. But there's like 35 live service games. Nobody can... There's not enough people. There aren't enough hours. There's not enough humans on Earth and hours in the day for any more than like 2 of these things to be successful. There's just not. I don't know where they're getting this math from, but that math does not math.
It doesn't. And we talked in the last 10, 20, 30, 40 about EverQuest, right? That game sucked away people's lives. But EverQuest and World of Warcraft are 1 in a million things.
Yeah.
For every EverQuest and World of Warcraft, there are just metric shit ton of games that you've never heard of or played that the developers thought and the companies behind them thought, this is the next big thing. We're just going to do what they did and we're going to make money forever. And man, the thing that really concerns me and upsets me about this particular game, though, is that I don't want this to be the thing that puts Rocksteady out of business. Because this is the type of game that puts companies out of business.
Yeah, this has big studio ruiner energy going on there.
It really, really does. I mean, look at what happened to Square Enix. Now, Square Enix is a gigantic company that is never going to fail. Like, Square Enix is in that too big to fail at this point. They always have Final Fantasy to fall back on, and they can be like, pixel remasters, and we'll be like, yes, please, more, here's money. But even Square Enix is now just Squaresoft again. And I don't know this to be true, but the timing of it, with the gigantic flop that was the Avengers, is kind of coincidental.
Squaresoft again? When did that happen?
Well, they're not Squaresoft again, but they sold off a bunch of like the Crystal Dynamics, like all that selling off and shit.
They sold off all their American stuff.
Yeah.
To double down on live services and NFTs and all sorts of other nonsense.
But doesn't it seem a little bit coincidental that after the big live service foray that they took failed hard, they had to sell, like Square Enix had to sell a bunch of shit. Rocksteady is not a company that size. Even a little bit. They made some really fucking awesome games. Some really fun, creative, interesting superhero games. And now this is happening, and I'm just concerned about it.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it.
I don't love that this is the last Kevin Conroy Batman thing we're gonna get. Like, that fucking sucks.
That's a bummer.
I was what a bummer way to end the show. Like, such an up and down show, and then boom, you hit me with fucking Street Fighter 6 and Resident Evil 4, and I'm feeling good, and then it's like, all right, kill the Justice League, time to sell me on this, and then nope. Just shooting a bunch of purple glowy shit on a Brainiac fucking thing in Metropolis. Like, what? Just, ugh.
And it's just kind of especially a bummer because, I mean, we didn't really go in depth on the Microsoft Direct thing. I don't remember what they called, Developer Direct or whatever. But when they shadow dropped that fucking awesome game that everybody has been loving.
Yeah.
Like that apparently went really well for them. And the Nintendo Direct was fantastic. And this was a
bummer.
Yeah.
This was a big stinker.
That Humanity thing's cool as hell. And those two
Capcom
that
looks
games
really cool.
Look very nice.
Capcom games look cool. I think Chia looks really cool. I'm sure, like I said, or like we said, the Destiny thing, I'm sure is a big deal if you're into Destiny. The Baldur's Gate thing, I'm sure is a big deal if you're into Baldur's Gate. I didn't see anything in here, though, where it was like, that's fucking cool. That's something that people like that aren't normally excited about this kind of thing maybe will get excited about. No fucking Silk Song. Just really bummed me out. And, like, that's unfair. That's not fair to put that expectation out, because apparently that game doesn't exist anymore. Because Team Cherry's a bunch of Darrens, and they won't fucking tell us anything about it. But, man, I was really, like, I was just about as whelmed could be by this show.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not floored. I feel like I haven't been floored by very many state of plays though. Like,
they're not great most of the time. Like, there's been a couple where it's been like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Yes, Wolverine and fucking Spider-Man 2. Yes, give me more of that.
They're definitely capable of being pretty cool, but I feel like a lot of times they just kind of missed the mark.
Yeah. This was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
This one was kind of a bummer. I get it. I get what they were going for, but for me personally, the resident Sony fanboy that I am, there's just nothing at this show I felt really stood out. Of like, oh, this is going to get people talking.
Yeah, you know, when you think about like a Nintendo Direct, where like a bunch of cool shit happens. It's like, all right, now we're on a roll. Now they're like, all right, now hitting us with like this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then they'll get to a big thing, and then they'll be like, all right, here's some weird anime shit nobody cares about, so you can catch your breath.
Yeah,
and like this just isn't that.
Yeah, this was just a weird. It's a weird collection of games to be together. This was just a weird show overall. What made it even weirder is that there was then no mention of the fact that immediately following the state of play, there was a big Diamond Dynasty feature reveal for the show, like a separate thing outside of the state of play. MLB The Show did their own like 45-minute thing or whatever. There was no mention of that. Like, hey, flip on over to the, Sony San Diego channel to catch this thing. They didn't even mention that. It was weird. No weird. Sizzle reel for like upcoming games that are hitting in like the next month or two. It was very strange. It was very, very whelming. Very whelming. Very disappointing.
Bummer.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6 looks incredible.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 looks great. I'm pretty jazzed about Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. That Humanity thing looks fucking weird. It does. I will maybe play that when it's like $5 at some point. Like, that's not a day one purchase or anything.
No. Most of what I'm seeing here isn't. I cannot imagine having time in my life for Resident Evil 4 when it comes out in like a couple of weeks, I guess. But I'd like to think that maybe I could, just because of how much I love the original. But I've got a lot on my plate already. Like the Nintendo Direct put so much in front of me between I mean, obviously there's that Kirby game, but like Advance Wars is in April. So I have March to kind of catch up on everything that I'm currently working on. But then April, you got Advance Wars, Tears of the Kingdoms in May, and then Street Fighters in June, same day as Katamari. And then July is Pikmin. Like, I'm kind of booked for this year, you know?
And there's a Star Wars game mixed in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to play that. That's only on next gen, so
yeah,
nothing I can do about that one.
Where was that in the state of play?
That's a good
That game's
point.
coming out soon.
And that one's coming to PS4 and PS... No, that was not coming to PS4, right. That is coming out soon.
That's coming out soon. This was a third-party focused thing. Like, nothing about that.
Sea of Stars didn't make anything on there. Sea of Stars is coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, nothing. No Silksong. That... Fuck you. I'm so tired of waiting for information on that game. Like, I'm starting to get angry.
Yeah, they've been way too quiet for way too long on Silksong. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it. I don't know what that reason is, but it's been years. It's been like Hatch Tales years here. You know?
Yeah, it really has. It really has. I don't know. Like, I do feel like this is going to be a down year for Sony, kind of overall. They don't, apart from, and man, I should have a better memory of this. We just did it a couple weeks ago, but apart from Spider-Man 2 coming later this year, like, that's the big fucking game. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm forgetting something, which I feel like I am. Am I forgetting something? PlayStation VR just came out, and those are the 4 or 5 games you show. I feel like, I don't know.
There's no Horizon, there's no God of War, there's, I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of anything else.
I mean, like, Death Stranding 2, but we don't know if that's this year or not.
Right, that's in the same boat as Metroid Prime 4. Like, that could be, whenever that happens is whenever that happens.
Yeah, it could be tomorrow. Like, that wouldn't fucking surprise me at all.
Like, shadow drop it, just like Prime. Like,
yeah, for Kojima to just be like, here it is. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, I wasn't ready. Fucking time out. Game off. Yeah. Weird show. Weird show.
I agree.
I like when things end on a kind of, It's all right. That happened.
It was kind of weird where like the Nintendo Direct ended on Tears of the Kingdom, and we were like, yeah, it's great. Metroid Prime, you know? That was supposed to be the big megaton, and by all means it should have been, but like, there's so much other good stuff in there, and this was like, God, 15 solid minutes. I can't believe how long they spent on that game, too.
Oh, God. Like, you couldn't have ended, I know it's third-party focused or whatever. You couldn't end with a new Star Wars trailer. Maybe something about the KOTOR remake. Like, nothing.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of... See, that's the thing that I think that's really bugging me about this, is there's gotta be other stuff coming. Like, there has to be more stuff they could have shown here. And instead of dedicating that much time to Suicide Squad, of all things, like, get another game or two in there, get something.
I would have rather seen
looks better.
I would have rather seen 15 minutes on that fucking Humanity game. I might understand it a little bit better.
I mean, I feel like there must have been something. There had to have been something that was a bigger get or a bigger deal to finish with. There just has to be something else in the world because like,
I don't know. Warner Brothers is throwing a lot of money behind this Suicide Squad game.
They are.
And like you said, they keep trying to make Suicide Squad a thing that it definitely isn't.
Yeah, I mean, even putting James Gunn behind the Suicide Squad, and as much as I liked that movie
was okay.
I thought it was pretty great, but Peacemaker was fantastic, and like that's where that was going. You know,
there you go. Peacemaker. Why isn't Peacemaker in this game? He's a character that has guns.
And like has gained a hell of a lot of popularity with his massively successful TV show.
But when they started
Suicide Squad,
when they started making this game 5 years ago,
that wasn't a thing.
That wasn't a fucking thing. But it should be. I guaranteed he's one of the downloadable characters that they're talking about. That they say, we're going to support it with new playable characters and whatever. Guaranteed Peacemaker's one of them. He would have to be.
Mm-hmm.
But, no. This isn't it, guys. And, like, you liked that movie way more than I did. It was okay.
I thought it was very fun. I loved live-action Starro.
I love live-action Starro. I love the weirdness of live-action Starro.
But Peacemaker was infinitely better than that movie. I liked the movie quite a bit, but, like, Peacemaker was fantastic, so...
That movie did not give me a lot of confidence in James Gunn being the one to take over the DCU. Like, I don't know. I don't know that James Gunn's Superman movie is the right thing for the world. I like James Gunn a lot, but he's a fucking Troma Films kid. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
That's a podcast for another podcast. In the meantime, I think it's time to wrap this thing up and go to bed.
That's right.
Put a bow on it. It's over.
We spent our own 15 minutes talking about the fucking Suicide Squad, so we're good. We've hit our quota.
All right. Well, that is our show. Join us next time when we will be hitting up the Nintendo DS starter kit, which I made my
theoretically.
List. I made my list this morning, and that was that was a real eye opener. Pro tip for you there, Dan. PAL games.
All right,
do not overlook the PAL games.
I'm on it. It's really, I noticed a distinct lack of chatter from our listeners about their own DS starter kits, and I wanted to give them some more time.
There you go. Yeah, there's 2 of them. There's
that's not enough.
The reminders. Yeah,
I need more. I need more. Fucking lazy bitches. What the fuck? Wrong with all of you? I need at least 7.
Yeah, we want our shows to last all night long.
That's right. Just like high school. God, this is going on for a while. Yeah, I know. Isn't it awesome? Oh.
Wow, they're still playing, aren't they? Yes, they are.
Oh shit.
Goodness
gracious. Are we on any social media sites, Chris?
No.
Oh. I'm on Spoutable. You guys should join Spoutable.
What the fuck is Spoutable?
Spoutable, it's only online now. There's not an app yet, but it's Christopher Boozy. This is a really smart dude, made a Bot Sentinel or whatever. It's a straight up Twitter clone. And it's really great, and it doesn't have any of the bullshit that Twitter has. And I feel like it is the one that when Twitter is dead, Spoutable will be the thing that people are using instead. So get in early. It's a good community.
Fair enough. Well, on that note,
at Dan Ryan.
At Dan Ryan. Let's see. That's our show. Again, join us next week. We'll do our DS starter kits. If you want to get in touch, we're on most social media. There it is. We're on most social media platforms. Sorry, I had to rewind my brain. We're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. The show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That is it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.